Earth is, until now, the only planet on which there is an environment inhabited by the causes of life. About 4 billion years ago, energetic chemical reactions on Earth produced molecules with the ability to multiply themselves. Then, about 500 million years later, the organism, or lineage from which subsequent species evolved, emerged on Earth. Photosynthesis, the synthesis of chemical compounds in light, allows the energy from the sun to be directly harnessed for life in all its forms. The oxygen produced by this process accumulates in the atmosphere, forming the ozone layer, O3, in the upper part of the atmosphere. This theory explains the origin of mitochondria and plastids, the parts of plant cells that contain chlorophyll, which are the constituent subunits of eukaryotic cells, which lack a nucleus and nuclear membrane. The fusion of small cells within large cells results in the formation of complex cells called eukaryotic cells, that is, they are distinguished by a single nucleus. True multicellular organisms that formed in cells in colonies have more characteristic features. Thanks to the absorption of the harmful ultraviolet rays by the ozone layer, life has settled on the surface of the planet. During the 1960s, some scientists assumed that a severe snowstorm had hit the Earth during the period between 750 and 580 million years, during the Neo-Eocene. As a result, most parts of the planet were covered with ice sheets or plates. The last extinction event occurred 65 million years ago, when a meteorite impact caused the extinction of dinosaurs and other large reptiles, but small animals such as mammals, which at that time resembled shrews, mouse-like insect-eating animals, survived. Following the Cambrian explosion, about 535 million years ago, 5 major extinctions occurred. Mammals have varied and diversified over 65 million years. According to Darwin's theory, an ape-like ancestor of humans was able to stand upright on its legs millions of years ago. According to Darwin's theory, the high efficiency of providing food and creating the appropriate stimulation, which eventually helped to increase the size of the brain, and human access to what it is today according to this theory. At the same time, the advent of agricultural activity and civilizations led to human beings having a great influence on the Earth within a short period, which had never happened before, which in turn led to the impact on other forms of life in terms of nature and quantity. The current ice age pattern began about 40 million years ago and intensified during the Pleistocene about 3 million years ago. Since then, the polar regions have undergone recurring cycles of precipitation and thaw, recurring every 40 to 100,000 years, and the last ice age ended 10,000 years ago. The future of planet Earth is closely related to the future of the Sun. For example, the steady accumulation of helium and other heavy elements in the interior of the Sun results in a slow increase in the total illumination of the Sun. The Sun's luminosity will increase by 10% over the next 1.1 billion years, and by 40% over the next 3.5 billion years. It is worth noting that research related to climatic conditions indicates that an increase in the proportion of radiation reaching the Earth may result in severe consequences, and among these consequences is the potential loss of water bodies on the planet. The rise in Earth's surface temperature is accelerating the inorganic carbon dioxide cycle and reducing its concentration, bringing it to levels that would kill plants, 10 parts per million, ppm for C4 photosynthesis, within 900 million years. In addition, the absence of vegetation on the Earth's surface would lead to a lack of oxygen in the atmosphere, and thus, the animals would be extinct in another several million years. But even if the Sun is immortal and will not undergo any changes, the continuous cooling that occurs in the interior of the Earth will lead to it losing most of its atmosphere and oceans, as a result of the lack of volcanic activity. After another billion years, all bodies of water will disappear, and the minimum temperature of the universe will reach 70 degrees Celsius. Earth is expected to become habitable for only about another 500 million years.